most up for the contest of the teams I've seen so far.
And part of that is just a function of feeding off the crowd.
Yeah.
Netherlands doesn't have that advantage on most occasions, and especially on a day like today where the overwhelming majority of people who are in the crowd here at Lord's today are Nepal fans. And the players love that, the players thrive off that, and how could you not?
And I think you learned your cricket growing up in the US, I take it.
I did not, actually. Funnily enough, it was all around me. Didn't know it was existing, where there's quite a strong, thriving cricket community in the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area. But I had not a clue about cricket until when I was 20 years old in university. It's probably the most efficient vehicle to spread the game, but we're not a bunch of Neanderthals who are totally incapable of learning Test cricket.
I never said that. I never said that. I never said that, Pieter. So the ground has cleared, and the two teams have assembled into their huddles. The Netherlands just over to the left-hand side of the pavilion, talking tactics, and Nepal over the other side. It's time for me to say thank you very much for your contributions, Pieter de la Pelle, cricket journalist and US cricket enthusiast. Thank you very much for talking to us today. It's been really interesting.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you guys for having me.
and or maybe we'll have you back later if you've got more time. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your time with the Nepal cricket team. Skies continuing to clear over Lords, and it looks like we're going to get a full T20 match in for the final match of this MCC Tri-Series. Final match again between Nepal and the Netherlands, and I'm just looking out of the pitch to see which of the teams is going to be batting first. Looks to the naked eye like it's going to be the Netherlands, as they've got the pads on, as they're just having a couple of throwdowns on the outfield in front of the pavilion here at Lords. And the grandstand is continuing to fill up as the Nepalese fans take their seats after getting some refreshments to watch their team in what is a full international T20 contest here today, which is the source of some of their excitement. I'm going to take a break, and I'm not going to take a break, which I'm just being signalled. Okay, apologies for the short intermission there. We're back at Lords for this T20 contest between Nepal and the Netherlands. And joining me here in the commentary box is Jamie Wright. Jamie, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon again. Still lovely to be here, and even lovelier than it was earlier today. I think we're rain free. I'm going to put it out there. We're rain free for the rest of the day.
This table's MDF, otherwise I would touch wood, but
yeah,
hopefully. And I'm going to depart now, and in my place very shortly, joining Jamie Wright will be James Marshall.
Thank you, Ben. So, Nepal take the field. They will be fielding first in what is a full international status T20 against the Netherlands. The two Dutch batsmen on their way out to the middle now. I'm not entirely sure of the toss news as to who won the toss. Nepal won the toss and elected to field is the news. We have some lineups for you. The Dutch lineup is as follows. Vissy, who batted so well earlier for his 58, O'Dowd, Tendershata, Aaree, Van Meekem, Rippon, Seelar, Edwards, Overdyke, Snater and Klassen. And the Nepal side, Shah, Malla, Khadka the captain, Sheikh, Airee, Kami, who bowled really, really well in the last game, Regmi, Karan, Lamichhane, Rajbanshi and Vesawkar. So, we have VC opening the batting, number 21 on his back. He's going to be opening with O'Dowd, number 4 on his back at the non-striker's end in their orange and navy tinged limited overs kit, and Kami As I say, bowled so well earlier, is going to get us underway from the pavilion end. Right arm over, and he bowls now outside the off stump, slightly back of a length. Cut into the covers, into the point region, and there's no run. Good afternoon, James.
Thank you, Jamie. Nice to continue this unbroken spell without rain, and nice to see Vizzy back at the crease again after that splendid 58.
Yep, it was a fantastic knock. And nice to have a full 2020 game, we hope. Here comes Cami again. This one's short on the leg stump and cut away through the point region for 4. It crosses the rope in front of the grandstand. And Vizzy picking up where he left off.
Absolutely, that was a nice shot through the square of the wicket, and no chance of cutting that off.
Let's give you the field quickly. So we have a slip, a third man back on the boundary, 3 saving 1 on the edge of the fielding circle on the offside, also a mid-off, a mid-on, and a fine leg all inside the circle, and deep square leg back on the boundary away to our left in front of the mound stand. Slip has come out to a backward point area. The third man has moved round. Here comes Cami with the next ball, and that's a really good delivery. It's a swing and a miss from Vizzy, well stopped by the keeper, no run.
Pretty close to the off stump actually, and the Nepalese fans over there in the grandstand in very good voice, cheering as Cami ran in. Tremendous atmosphere here.
They are indeed. Only Nepal's second appearance at Lord's. They played here against the MCC 2 years ago. So those Nepal fans really enjoying their day out, and they've already seen them comfortably defeat the MCC side. Here's Cami on his way now on the leg stump and turned round the corner by Vizzy. They'll come for 1, and they will come back for a comfortable second as the man runs round on the boundary backward of square. 6 without loss, all 6 to Vizzy. 1 ball remaining in the first of what we hope will be a full 20 overs in this innings. Very heavy clouds here in northwest London, but thankfully dry and somewhat brighter than earlier. Cami on his way now, running towards us, and it's a good ball again. It's a play and a miss from Vizzy, straight through to the keeper. I lied, that was the penultimate ball of the over, not the last ball of the over.
Interesting field. 6-3, 6 on the offside, protecting that shorter boundary on our right, and 1 man out on the leg side, deep square leg, and there's a very wide open space there around the mid-wicket region, so the bowler's got to keep it outside off stump.
Here's Cami again. This one's down the leg side and signalled wide by the umpire.
So the mid-wicket area looks tremendously inviting.
It does indeed, yes. As you say, a lot of open space down there to the tavern. A ring of fielders on the edge of the fielding circle. Quite a short boundary to that grandstand. Away to our right. Vizzy waits. Cami's in now, and he comes forward and plays this off his hip and round the corner for 4. Down to the mound stand. Well played by Vizzy, and Cami had no answer. So good start from the Netherlands. They're 11 without loss, and we've had 1 over.
Yes, and all 10 runs off the back to Vizzy after that splendid 58 in the match against the MCC, where he scored 58 out of 72. So he's having a tremendous day.
Yep, Tobias Vizzy. And we are now going to see Max O'Dowd, right-handed, taking his guard from the umpire. It's going to be left arm round the wicket. From Regmi. Basant Regmi. going to bowl the first over from this nursery end, the media centre end here at Lord's. Number 19 on his back, Nepal sporting a red and very bold blue outfit. Wicketkeeper standing up to the stumps. We have a slip in place, 3 on the edge of the circle on the offside. Here comes his first ball. It's right on the money, but played into the covers. They will come through for a quick single as the man runs round, shies at the stumps, but they'll get there comfortably. So O'Dowd off the mark. Mid off, back on the boundary, underneath us. 3 inside the circle on the onside, as well as a deep mid wicket in front of the grandstand. Slips come out and gone into short extra cover. I feel like I'm missing a player somewhere, but I can't see another one at the moment. Here's the next delivery from Regmi, and that's on the leg stump and misfield at backward point. They'll come through for the single. Just slipped through the hands of the man there at backward point. 13 without loss. Vissy moves to 11. O'Dowd back on strike on 1. Regmi up to the stumps now. Bowls, and that's on the middle stump, and played off his hip to mid wicket by O'Dowd. No run there, a man in.
So O'Dowd was born in New Zealand. His age 1994, so he's 24 years old.
Regmi bowls again now on the off stump, and that's a thick inside edge that takes the ball through square leg for a single. To O'Dowd, moves him on to 2. 14 without loss the score. I'll get this in now while I get the chance. Nepal are known as the Rhinos, apparently. You learn something every day. Vissy just fiddling with something with his gloves. He's ready now, he waits. And this next ball has bowled him. Straight through. And a big, big wicket for Nepal. The key man for the Netherlands, Vissy. It looked to me like he went for the mid-wicket strike, and the ball hit roughly somewhere near the top of leg stump.
Yeah, and it just clipped leg stump, didn't it? And of course, naturally, the Nepalese are delighted. The Nepal, it is, as you say, very important wicket, and the Nepal fans in very good voice as a result of that.
They are indeed. Big, big wicket, as we say. 14 for 1, the Netherlands. That was the man they wanted. He did such damage in the earlier game against the MCC with 58, including some spectacular 6 hitting, but he's gone for 11. Bowled by Basant Regmi. The new man for the Netherlands, I believe, is a familiar name to those in county cricket. I thought it was going to be Ryan Tendashati, but
according to the scoreboard, it's Wesley Baresi.
Baresi, who in fact has come out. The right-handed Baresi. The only change in the field is the slip has gone back in, and he faces his first ball and he drives back up the pitch towards mid-on, and there's no run. That concludes a successful over for Basant Regmi, a successful over for Nepal. 14 for 1, the Netherlands off the first 2 overs.
Yes, tremendous wicket for Nepal, because Vissy had done so well in the other match, and he looked in tremendous form. And yeah, very important wicket indeed.
I think the crowd has grown over there in that grandstand.
Yes, I think definitely.
Now the weather's dried up, and this full international T20 is underway. O'Dowd's going to be on strike, and it's a change of bowling from the pavilion end. It's going to be Karan. Number 33, Karan. It's marking his run up now, so the field has a third man, 4 in a line on the offside, 3 roughly in a line on the leg side, and 1 man out. Here comes his first ball, and that's on the off stump and driven over wide mid-off. They come through for 1. I don't think it's going to go for 4. No, the man does very, very well chasing it down there. They will come through for 3 though. Yes, they do.
Yes, very well run.
Very well run, very well fielded, and a nice shot over the infield. So all round pretty good cricket.
Yep.
17 for 1. I did say there wasn't going to be any more rain today. It's just a bit of a mizzle blowing in from left to right as we look at it from the media centre. Here comes Karan to bowl his second ball to Baresi, who swats at that one, gets a thick outside edge for 4 down through third man. The man running round couldn't quite stop it, and it goes for 4 just underneath the Compton stand away to our right. 21 for 1. Baresi off the mark. Any predictions on what would be a good score today?
Well, one would have thought you've got to be pushing 200, haven't you, Jamie?
Lots of space, short boundary. So we shall see. Here comes Karan. He's in now, and it's turned round the corner through square leg by Baresi for a single. They are going to come back for a second though. That's good running. The throw wasn't accurate at the non-striker's end. It was well backed up, but they make the 2 comfortably in the end. 23 for 1. Still quite a breeze going across the ground as well from left to right. Batsman just having a bit of a chat. Not entirely sure what about. Is O'Dowd nursing a bit of a limp there?
Yeah, it looks so. He has done something to his leg.
He's holding the back or the back of his right leg, or possibly the I'm not sure. He's holding something. Here comes Karan. That's outside the off stump and chopped down into the ground for a quick single that O'Dowd may not have quite fancied. He is definitely limping. The long-haired O'Dowd, a mop of long hair coming out the back of his batting helmet. Another conversation as well. Like he might have pulled something like a hamstring or strained something in there. Everyone up inside the circle apart from third man and deep square leg on the boundary. Here's Karan again, and this one is flicked over through mid-wicket. There's a chance of a catch, and it's a very good catch. It's a great catch, in fact. At deep square leg, the man on the boundary was flicked uppishly by O'Dowd and caught maybe 5 yards inside the rope in front of the mound stand. A tumbling dive to claim the ball, but he held on. Very, very good catch.
Yeah, it was a tremendous catch, wasn't it? And the batsman was a little bit unlucky, really, because he actually picked out the only man on the boundary, but it was brilliantly caught down low. That's a dive forwards.
It was Anil's Sheikh.
It was a tremendous catch. Caught it about a foot off the ground, so very well done indeed.
Very, very good catch. I wonder if that had something to do with O'Dowd's injury, the decision making of the shot, whether he'd made a decision that running wasn't for him. To perhaps go for it, but yeah, pick the man out.
So
Ryan Tendashati does come in finally, as I say, a familiar face to followers of the county game. Next ball is driven into the offside, and there's no run. It ends another successful over for Nepal. 24 for 2, the Netherlands. Baresi 7, and Tendashati yet to get off the mark.
yeah, it's well played, Nepal. That was a tremendous bit of cricket. Yeah, Ryan Tendashati, he's 38 years old. Another born in South Africa in Port Elizabeth in 1980, and made his ODI debut back in 2006 against Sri Lanka, and T20 debut 2008 against Kenya.
Sandeep Lamichhane is going to come on from the nursery end.
And as we were hearing earlier, 17-year-old with tremendous future ahead of him, plays for the Delhi Daredevils.
He has a giant number 25 on his back, and he's going to be bowling with a slip in place to Tendashati. He comes in now, right arm over, and that one's straight on the money on a good length in front of the off stump, and Tendashati's forward defending. There's no run. Still the 2 men out under the fielding regulations, and here he comes again. It's another good ball. This time just dropped into the onside. They won't get a run there. Wicket keeper out very quickly to stop that. Lamichhane waits at the top of his run up and comes in about 7 or 8 paces. This one's outside the off stump and chopped away for a single to the man at backward point. Comfortably taken. 25 for 2. Tendashati off the mark.
Yeah, we've just got the 2 men out, haven't we? One at deep mid wicket, one down here in front of us that's long off, and the rest saving one. 3 on the offside, a slip. 3 on the offside.
Here comes his next delivery. Outside the off stump, and a swing and a miss, and straight through to the keeper, who's for standing up.
That might have straightened back up the hill, actually.
It may well have done, yes. I think Baresi was probably expecting that to, at worst, hold its line. Defeated him though.
Yeah, slight slope, Lord, right to left, and
his next delivery is on middle and leg, and Baresi uses his feet, comes down and launches it over wide mid on. That's 4 underneath the Compton stand.
well played.
Very, very well played by Baresi. Good footwork. Got to the pitch of the ball very, very quickly. Moves himself on to 11 off 7 deliveries. 29 for 2 the score. The Dutch put into bat by Nepal. And Baresi waits for this next delivery on a good length on the off stump, and driven into the offside. A slight misfield at point on the edge of the circle, at cover point on the edge of the circle. They'll come through for a quick single, and that's the end of the 4th over. 30 for 2. So Baresi has 12 and Ryan Tendashati has 1. So we've had 4 overs bowled by 4 different bowlers so far. So
think we've got another change now.
The workload being spread around. No, I think it's 33. It's still Lamichhane again. Yep.
That's Cami.
Cami, is it? Here he comes then, right arm over and driven through the offside, and that's going to run away for 4 down towards the very far edge of the grandstand. Used his feet there.
Yeah, picked the spot very nicely, didn't he? And outfield's still pretty fast, and that ran up the hill into the Warner stand. That was very well played.
Moves Aaree on to 16, 34 for 2. Fielding restrictions still in place, so everyone in the circle bar the 2 at this stage. Here comes the next delivery, and that's lofted for 6 into the grandstand.
Yeah.
A flat 6 over extra cover and landing just pretty much in the front row of the grandstand there, the well-populated grandstand. Couple of steps down the pitch from Aaree, who's getting into his stride here. 40 for 2, 22 off 10 he is.
Yeah, very good shot indeed. Conference going on now with the bowler between changing the man. Third man is coming up into the circle, and they're dropping a man out onto that cover boundary now, which seems a sensible move.
It does. So yes, third man right on the edge of that circle. Here comes Cami with his 3rd ball of the over, and that one's played backward of point by Aaree. They'll get a comfortable single as they come scampering through. 41 for 2 brings Ryan Tendashati on to strike. And instantly, third man goes back out, and the man on the cover boundary comes back inside the circle. Run rate currently 9.1 off of 4.5 overs. Here comes Cami again. This one's down the leg side. It's well stopped by the keeper. That'll be signalled leg by. Must have flicked the pad on the way through. Rather saved the bowler from the 2 wides off his figures. Aaree back on strike, so the field changes again. Third man up, cover out, sweeping in front of that very well populated grandstand. Here comes Cami again, and this one's swatted towards that man out on the boundary, who fields very, very well to keep that down to 1. He had to scramble a bit to his right to get to that, but he did very, very well. Saved 3 runs there. 43 for 2. Aaree has 24, and Tendashati just the 1 from 4 balls. He's going to be on strike for the last ball from Cami, the last ball of this 5th over. And Cami's on his way now and bowls, and that's right on the off stump. It's just dropped in front by Tendashati. They'll trot through for a comfortable single. Moves Tendashati on to 2, and the score off 5 overs to 44 for 2. The Netherlands, after being put into bat. I'm going to leave you and hand you over to James to do some commentary, and leave you with Ed.
Thank you very much, Jamie. 44 for 2 now, as we're about to start the 6th over, and it's Regmi putting left arm round, who took the important wicket of Vizzy. He's going to resume from the nursery end in front of us, and he comes in now, short run and bowls, and down the pitch comes Tendashati. And yes, 6 runs over long on, just clearing the rope. Tremendous blow. Came down the pitch to a ball that was of good length, and hit it orthodox shot over long on for 6 runs. So Netherlands have reached 50 for 2 after 31 balls, and this is the start of the 6th over. So Tendashate is up to 8 now. He's faced 6 deliveries. Slight adjustment in the field now as Regmi moves the man at deep square leg on the boundary. He's coming round now to more of a deep mid-wicket position, and the man now saving one just behind, or just in the circle, just behind the square leg umpire, as in comes Regmi now, left arm around the wicket, bowls outside the off stump, and it's forced behind point by Tendashate, and the batsman take an easy single.
Afternoon, James. Basant Regmi, he's played 11 T20 internationals. He has 15 wickets with an average of 15.13 and an economy rate of under 6.
Thank you very much.
But that was a beautiful shot by Tendashate.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it's just all timing. No brute force whatsoever, and it sailed. It almost floated over the long on boundary.
And so Baresi now ready to face Regmi. 2-3-4 paces, who bowls just on leg stump, forced round. There's a man, it's gone through him. There's a man just inside the ring on fine leg, but it's gone through him. I think the batsmen are even going to take 3. So what good running there. And that brings Tendashate down to face Regmi. He's on 9, 54 for 2 now in the 6th over. And as I say, the 2 men out. We've got one long off just in front of the boundary here, and a mid-wicket in front of the populated grandstand as Regmi bowls, forced on the offside and well fielded there at cover. The ball, if he hadn't cut that off, it would have raced down the hill for 4, but it's just a single as it happens, and that takes Tendashate to 10, and Baresi will now face the 5th ball of Regmi's over. 55 for 2 now, the Netherlands. So Regmi bowls, that's on the stumps, and it's hit short arm jab, and it's gone 1, 2, 3 bounces over the boundary rope at long on, and that's 4 more to Baresi. He moves to 31, and the Netherlands to 59 for 2.
Tendashate glided his ball over long on. That was a thump, a real back foot heave, but not quite equally effective, but still another 4 to the total. And your bet of about 200 is looking bang on.
I do think so. Well, let's see. So Regmi, having been dispatched now over the long on boundary, will bowl the final ball of his over. It comes in and bowls, and that's outside the leg stump, and it's flicked square, and just a single, well fielded there at square leg position. And Baresi will keep the strike. He moves to 32, and the Netherlands to 60 for 2 after 6 overs. So Regmi's figures are 2 overs, 1 for 19, and Kami, who bowled the last over at the pavilion end, 2 overs, no wicket for 24.
So the end of the 6th over means the end of the batting power play, so the captain of Nepal can now have up to 5 men on the boundary, and perhaps we will see the scoring rate slow a little, because in the previous over there are huge gaps, because you can't cover everywhere with 2 boundary riders, and now it's going to be a little bit tougher, especially as they're bringing on their star attraction, Lamichhane, back to bowl from the pavilion end. And something we should mention is that we're live. We've been many emails today about a live stream. There is now a live stream on the Lord's Facebook page and the Twitter feed at the Home of Cricket. You can find a link to the live stream of this match with our commentary alongside, and we know that we've many people enjoying that, because this is a big game. It's the first T20 International for Nepal in 3 years, and they really have something to prove.
So Lamichhane now getting ready to bowl. In he comes now from the pavilion end. That's a ball of full length, which Baresi hits up to long off, and it's a comfortable single. It's no more than that. 61 now for 2, the Netherlands.
No deep fielder behind square on either the off or the onside, so you would think that anything down the leg side is almost a certain boundary, and that was tossed up well outside the off stump for that reason, I suppose.
In comes Lamichhane now, bowls a bit shorter ball, which is dabbed out behind square on the offside, and good backing up there from Aaree, and the batsman go through for a single. So Aaree takes strike. So on the offside we have a short third man, backward point, man on the cover boundary. It's a man at mid-off saving one, long on the boundary, mid-wicket on the boundary, and a man just behind square on the boundary, and a fine leg inside the ring. And Lamichhane now, pavilion end, bowls, and reverse sweep, attempted reverse sweep at least from a ball that was around leg stump actually from Aaree. Fails to make contact, and there is no run. 62 for 2 now, and this is the 7th over of this 20 over a side match. Lamichhane giving the ball a little tweak in his hand as he prepares. In he comes now, past the umpire and bowls. Shorter on the leg side. It's a very fine flick from Aaree, and that's going to run down in front of us. Is it going to make the boundary? Yes, it does. Delicate shot, very effective. 4 runs for Aaree, and that takes Netherlands to 66 for 2, and Aaree to 37 off 18 deliveries.
Yeah, but as I said before, it really is crying out for that shot. If you're on the leg stump, we've seen with the reverse sweep from Aaree, they're trying to target the short fine leg and short third man, and he'll be annoyed. He's only 17, Lamichhane, but he'll be annoyed that he let one drift down the leg stump there, because that was a little bit of a gimme.
In he comes now, bowls, and that's outside the off stump this time, and Aaree is trying to force that around mid-wicket, long on-ish, fails to make contact, goes through the keeper, and there's no run. I mean, I suppose it is quite difficult bowling, the ball's going to be pretty wet.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a lot of rain, of course, this morning, so it's going to be harder for him to grip the ball, so we will see a little bit more variation. And that's the reverse sweep, which Aaree gets hold of this time. It's a man in pursuit who's going to cross the boundary rope now, third man. So very well played by Aaree. He got it that time, and it ran away. And actually the man had very little chance down there on the third man boundary to cut it off. So 4 more to Aaree. He's going very well now. He's up to 41, and the score 70 for 2.
And something we haven't talked as much about as you sometimes do when you're here at Lord's is the slope, and that probably is something else you've got to contend with. The slope from the running. How would you describe the way that the slope runs here? It's diagonal, isn't it? From the nursery end going from right to left, and it's quite severe.
Yeah, I mean, it runs down from, as we look at it, we're looking at the pavilion now, it runs from right to left. So if you're bowling from the sort of pavilion end, it's sort of going from
well, left to right.
yeah, the other way, exactly. But I mean, if I was thinking in terms of, you're bowling to the right hand from the pavilion end,
and that's drifting down
a little bit further outside off stump, perhaps.
And you do see that, even experienced bowlers, you see them often push it down the leg side. And we haven't really seen anyone fail to control it yet, but perhaps that doesn't help when you're, trying to make sure you pitch everything outside the off stump.
I'm sure that's right. Now we've got another bowling change here. The nursery end, we have Rajbanshi. It's Rajbanshi. Rajbanshi is coming on left arm around the wicket. Just bowled a few practice balls to the man at mid-off there. He's getting ready to bowl now. In he comes now and bowls, and that's a ball of good length, and Tender Sharting gets onto the back foot and forces it through extra cover for a single. 71 for 2 now, Netherlands. 7.1 overs.
And it's Rajbanshi's official anyway. He's played a lot of associate matches, I'm sure, but it's his official international debut today.
So congratulations to him. So the short run, 5 or 6 paces, and he comes now and bowls. That's a ball. It's outside leg stump, and that's hit the keeper's pad. I don't think the bat made any contact. I think it's just going to be a bye. No, is it signalled a bye?
Signalled a wide. I think it must have missed everything. Yeah, it was signalled a wide.
So
I thought like you it had hit the pad, but no, it must have gone just completely through down the leg side.
So that's 73 for 2 now. Tender Shate facing. It's a ball on the stumps this time, and predominantly a defensive shot that runs out behind the keeper on the offside, and there's no run. 73 for 2. Tender Shate has 12. Rajbanshi now bowling the third ball of his first over. Bowls out straight as a Yorker length, which is dug out by Tender Shate, and the bowler feels there is no run, so the score remains at 73 for 2. So Rajbanshi ready again. In he comes. Bowls, and that's outside the off stump this time, and it's hit hard into the offside, but there's a man on deep who's come in and fielded, and the batsman are only going to get one. Throw comes into the wicketkeeper, and the score moves up to 74 for 2. And that's the 50 partnership.
And it's a dangerous one because Baresi's in, and in Ryan Tender-Skata they've got, you know, the greatest player they've ever produced, and he's currently the captain of Essex, isn't he?
He's certainly playing for us. He maybe is the captain. Rajbanshi in now, and that's well hit by, fairly well hit by Baresi. It's a comfortable single for him as it rolls up towards long on, and it's comfortably fielded.
We've got a couple of old war horses from Essex here today. James Foster, who the scoreboard unfairly described him as Staunton, was it? Or something like that. But he played in the earlier match for the MCC.
Indeed. And Rajbanshi to complete his over, and he bowls, and that's the ball outside off stump, which Tender Shate doesn't attempt to play. No wide signal, so that's the end of the over. 75 for 2 after 8 overs.
And as you might expect, he's only played 9 official T20 internationals, Ryan Tender-Skata, but he has a pretty astonishing average of 42, which in T20 cricket is pretty...
Wow.
And a strike rate of 128. And Mike Hussey always says that he looks for something called the combined 160, which is your average and your strike rate have to add up to 160. And the theory being because there's a premium on, you know, scoring quickly, and he's well over that. And he's an incredibly destructive player. We've seen he can seriously hit the ball. We've already seen that once today. And so Nepal don't want him going into the final 5 overs.
Indeed. So Kami is going to start his third over from the pavilion end. Right arm over the wicket, medium fast. And he comes now, is approaching the stumps and bowls, and that's a shortish ball, which Baresi jabs out to the man at deep mid-wicket, and it's just going to be one as the throw comes in. Nice throw to the keeper above the stumps, and takes the Netherlands up to 76 for 2.
The crowd noticeably quieter. They were very raucous at the start of this innings, and they're just settling down. You know, if this is an English crowd, you might think it's the post-lunch lull, but I think it's just because this has been quite a dangerous platform, to use a cliche that the Netherlands have set.
Indeed. So Kami tossing the ball in his hand as he starts his run. In he comes now, past the umpire, and bowls a shorter ball, which is struck well by Tender Shate, well fielded out there at deep mid-wicket, and throw comes in, and again just a single.
And we have slightly seen, I think, the boundaries dry up. They were 60 for no loss after 6 overs, and they're 77 for 2 in midway through the 9th. And that's purely, I think, because the gaps aren't there in the same way that they were in the start of the innings. And they cashed in, which is what you have to do.
Indeed. In comes the bowler now, and it's a ball on leg stump, leg and middle maybe, and it's pushed into the onside. Are they going to go for 2?
Oh!
Oh my goodness. Baresi turned to come back for a second, changed his mind, went back, and there was a distinct run-out possibility there at the bowler's end, but Cami failed to gather cleanly as the throw came in, so there's a potential opportunity that was missed there. But as I say, the fielding is difficult in these conditions.
Yep.
The ball is wet, and it would have been a very, very smart run-out had it been executed, but wasn't to be. Batsmen survive. Ten Bashate will face Cami's fourth ball, and in he comes now and bowls, and that's a ball outside leg, so a little dab down to the man at fine leg. Good backing up from Baresi, so it's a comfortable single.
I think that was one of those run-outs where he went for the direct, and as you say, it's very difficult fielding in these conditions, but he went for the direct hit when he probably could have done it a little bit more softly, because it bounced just at the foot of the stumps, and Cami, it was a difficult pick up and take.
Yeah, difficult for him to gather, yes, yeah. So a moment of anxiety there for Baresi. He's survived it, and he's facing now. He's batted extremely well. He's on 44, 79 for 2, as in comes Cami now and bowls. Oh, he's bowled him! Well bowled, middle stump, out of the ground. To the delight of the Nepal fans over there in the grandstand. So Baresi, who was going so well, has been bowled by Cami for 44, and that's the third the Netherlands wicket for 79.
And that middle stump really did go out of the ground.
Tremendous sight there for the bowler, and indeed for the Nepal fans, and who are on their feet now, chanting, clapping. Well done indeed.
Yeah, no post-lunch lull now.
And you can hear the chants of Nepal, Nepal.
It really is. They're making an enormous amount of noise, given that they're probably about half of that one stand. But it's great to see this many people in. And it would be great for them to get a real contest here, because it's been a bit disappointing with the rain today. We had 2 6-over matches, which were entertaining, but you never get, with something like that, it's always a bit of a crapshoot, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so this is much more of an interesting game.
It feels positively leisurely.
Yeah.
In comparison. So very well bowled Cami, very well batted Baresi. He's looking in very good form, looking the danger man, and he's now been removed. So that was an important blow for Nepal. As I say, 79 for 3 now in the the ninth over. It's the sixth ball of the ninth over. And Ripon is taking guard, right-hand batsman, number 9. He's inspecting the pitch, prodding a couple of either real or imaginary blemishes. It's getting ready now as Cami, full of confidence now, so he runs in and bowls. Oh, it's a good straight ball, which Ripon with a straight bat forces up to the man at mid-off, and he's off the mark. So he's away. New Zealand, sorry, I keep saying New Zealand. Netherlands, to apologise. Netherlands 80 for 3, and that's after 9 overs. So
Ryan Ten-Doeschate got 15 or 16 balls. You might say that's a bit slow, but it's even more important now that he bats the remaining 11 overs or gets them close to it, because Baresi was looking really good actually, and it's a disappointing way to end. But they had got a little bit, not bogged down, that would be an unfair thing to say, but Baresi was hitting boundaries so freely, you got the impression that he really was struggling a little bit with this spread out field, and I wonder if that's why he tried to force one that wasn't really there.
So Rajbanshi about to start his second over, and a bit of adjustment done to the field. The man out there at deep mid-wicket has been moved backwards and forwards a bit, and he's coming to rest more or less in between the stumps, I would say, out there at deep mid-wicket. So Rajbanshi now will bowl to the new batsman Ripon, who's on 1, 80 for 3. He comes in now, left arm bowls, and that's a ball of good length, and Ripon went onto the back foot and chopped it on the offside, and there was sort of a moment when Nepal thought that ball had beaten the bat and would have bowled him actually, but Ripon just got some bat on it, and another single to him. 80 for 3.
Extra man in the
81
ring.
for 3.
Extra man in the ring now that they've taken that wicket. Only 4 boundary fielders.
So 10 to Shate now, and that's a full length on Midland leg, and he punches it up in orthodox fashion to deep mid on, and takes a single, takes him up to 16. Score 82 for 3 in the 10th over of this 20 overs a side match, which brings Ripon down to face. He's 2 not out off 2 balls, 2 singles, and Rajbanshi now 3rd ball of the over, and he comes and bowls, and that's ball of good length, straightish. Ripon took a couple of paces down the steps, down the wicket, and in the end pushed forward in a firm defensive manner, and there was no run. So the score remains at 82 for 3. Ripon is 2, 10 to Shate 16, and Rajbanshi in, he comes down, bowls, and that's a ball of full length on the off stump. Forced to the man at short extra cover, well fielded, no run.
How are you feeling about your prediction now of 200?
I think 200 is looking a bit optimistic,
yes,
to be honest.
But they're still in the 80s, and we're not even at the 10th over yet. I mean, it is still a good start.
It is a good start, but 3 wickets have gone. In comes Rajbanshi now, and bowls a goodish length. Again, Ripon goes onto the back foot, puts it into the offside, and they're going to get comfortable too as the ball comes in. 84 for 3 now, as we're going to have the final ball of the 10th over to be bowled by Rajbanshi, and to Ripon. And he comes now and bowls. Ball on the stumps, it's forced wide of the man at long off. They're going to take 1, yes, and yes, in the end it's a comfortable 2 for Ripon. He moves to 6, 86 for 3, and that's the end of the 10th over, and we're going to have a change of commentator. Ben is now going to take over from me, and while he's getting into position, I'll allow Ed to make a few comments.
Thanks, James, and a really good match here. This international T20 between Nepal and the Netherlands. Nepal's first international T20 for 3 years, and currently they won the toss. They were elected to field, and they have Netherlands 86 for 3. Ripon's on 6. Tendusgarta's on 16, and as Ben Timpson replaces James, I suggest we've got a really good game on our hands.
Well, it's tight, isn't it? And the Netherlands have got a challenge on their hand there with these wickets.
Yes, and we have a bowling change. It's Khadka into the attack for the first time today. He's over the wicket, right arm medium, and he bowls to Tendusgarta, who flicks that into the leg side, and they come back for a very tight 2, but it's exceptionally well judged, and they get through for it. 88 for 3 now. Tendusgarta moves on to 18, so his strike rate's gone up to 100 for the first time, I think, for a long time in this innings.
Hugely experienced Tendusgarta. I mean, I can't remember a time where he wasn't, you know, the pivotal figure in this Netherlands side.
I'm not sure there has been a time when he wasn't the pivotal figure in this Netherlands side. As Khadka is in, and that's Tendusgarta cutting, but it's gone off the bottom edge, past the wicketkeeper, down to the fielder there at third man, and they have a run through for a single. Oh, and there's all sorts of tomfoolery going on as they think about stealing a second, and there's a shy at the stumps, but it was just the one.
Well, there's some slippery conditions out there.
Yeah. The pitch, though, has played pretty well. I mean, it's got a mottled green look to it, but we've seen maybe a couple that have bounced. But
I think for the taller bowlers, there's been it's occasionally popped off length, but that's really been the only challenge for the batsmen. No spin to speak of.
And the rain, I mean, I'm sure the ground staff have been praying for the rain, but not for today. But it must be so difficult. This normally immaculate snooker-like surface even has a few little dints and nicks on it as that's whipped by Tenduscarter into the leg side, and they actually came through for 2, so it was Tenduscarter on strike, and they've come through for 2 again. Oh no, it's
close.
It's a bit shy at the non-striker's end, thrown in well from the man fielding it short mid-wicket.
It's gone for 4.
It's gone for 4. God, the umpire, I think they're going, can they go upstairs?
I'm unsure. There has been no signal from the umpire. He went straight to the signal for 4. So
Well, 4 runs it is. And you're hearing the boos from the Nepal fans at the mound stand. They're not happy about that. They thought there was a run out. From where we were, I thought he was probably in. But as it is, it's hit the stumps, and that's a 5.
Well, his bat was in the air, but the umpire wasn't in the best position really to call it, because it was very, very quick. But lots of the Nepal fans are making the TV umpire signal now.
Yes. I thought he was, but you're right, he's making the 4 signal. Although those of you who are watching our live stream, perhaps you can rewind it and email in whether it's in or out. As Khadka's bowling to Tenduscarter, who flicks that into the leg side. He got 6 actually from that last delivery, because they ran 2 and there was a 4, and he's got off strike there with a single to the fielder at wide mid-on.
And the challenge for Nepal is the bowling and fielding is their strength, less so batting.
Yes.
So even a target of 160 could present challenges, particularly in what are not ideal batting conditions.
No, and the rain has just started to come down a little bit. It's become a bit mizzly again here at Lord's. We've been quite lucky. Apart from the stoppage at the start, we've had uninterrupted play. And we just hope that can continue for this international, as Khadka is in to Rippon, and Rippon's whipping that. He whips it straight to the fielder at wide mid-on, and there is no run. So 6. I don't think I've ever seen that before. 6 runs without it going in the air, ball going in the air. That's a first for me.
It's good batting.
Yeah, brilliant batting, of course. Maximising your options.
Yeah.
You hear those stories about, balls getting stuck in trees and people running 17. That tends to happen in club matches. But it's unfortunate for Nepal, because that was a reasonable shout and we won't know whether he was in or out. The umpire said he was in, as that's whipped by Rippon over the fielder, fielding there at backward point, and it's raced to the boundary for 4. So a really expensive over brings up the Netherlands 101 for 3 off 11 overs. Now, the usual form is get to 12 and double. That's what they say. So, on that basis, seems like James's prediction is going to be a bit short. He's going to be a bit short. Tenduscarter's moved on to 31. Rippon's on 10. That was the end of the 11th over, 101 for 3. So Khadka took a bit of a beating there. 15 runs from his first over. And I was just looking at his T20 International stats. So he played, he's 30, so he's played before they had their ODI status stripped of him. And in his 11 matches, he's taken 2 wickets at an average of 85. So perhaps he's not, it's more of a pop gun attack than a cannon.
Well, it's Nepal are going through their options. It's the seam bowlers have struggled. Admittedly, it's not been through clean strokes. There's been a lot of thick outside edges, but because of that short offside boundary, as we look at it towards the pavilion, they've all just flown away to it. So trying to find some control for Nepal has been quite difficult.
Regmi's going to bowl a second over, 1 for 19 off his 2 overs so far. Left arm off spin, and that's hit on the pads now. A peel, but the umpire is immovable, not immoved. That's not a word. He's immovable, and Tenduscarter survives. He's got 27 off his 22 balls, 101 for 3. The field, we have got a long on, a deep mid wicket, a sort of deep square leg fielder, a short third man, a short fine leg. As Regmi bowls, and he comes down the wicket, Tenduscarter, and that's hit straight to the man at deep long on, but on the bounce, and they're going to come back for 2. Oh, that's very good running again. Very good running. It was Rippon this time who decided they would take on the arm, and he was about halfway down the pitch while Ryan Tenduscarter turned, but he was running to the danger end. He made the call, and it was a good call. 29. Tenduscarter moves on to.
It's almost as if he dummied not to go for the second, and then once the ball was in the air, he knew he was safe.
And to complete that field, there's a backward point, a deep cover, and extra covers. That's cut beautifully by Tenduscarter, cut past that backward point fielder, and it bangs off the advertising hoardings for 4 runs into the backward point region. And
there's no spin there for Regmi. So unfortunately, a long hop outside the off stump.
Yes.
Tenduscarter's eyes just lit up there. He won't miss out, even though that is the longer boundary. He bisected the fielders beautifully, going just past point.
Yep. So deep extra cover had absolutely no chance He had to just watch it race to the fence. All the fielders out in the deep are again in front of square, so that's a profitable option for Ryan Tendersgaard. He moved to 33, he's come down the wicket again, but this time he just nudges that out to the fielder at deep square leg and gets through for a single, which really monopolised the strike, as he should be doing, I suppose, in the last over or so. He's moved on to 34 off 25. Seems only an age ago he was on 14 or 15 balls. But the Netherlands starting to put a little foot on the accelerator, Ben.
I'd say so, but also, I mean, 3 wickets down, Nepal, if they take a couple of quick wickets and they get into the lower order of the Netherlands, it's not a long batting lineup. So they've got the opportunity to slow things down significantly with a couple of wickets. But yeah, these pair looking set currently.
Regmi bowls, and that's a shorter one that Rippon tries to cut again as that backward point region, but he isn't able to time it perfectly, and it goes straight to the fielder, and there's no run.
So the Netherlands are a team also in a little bit of transition. Pieter, their captain for a long period, has recently retired, and they've got some new players who joined the team. So Nepal are a young side, but also the Netherlands are a side slightly in transition as well. So,
yeah. Well, we've seen a 17-year-old bowling today as Regmi comes in, and that's beaten everything and gone past the wicketkeeper. It's going to roll to the boundary, I think, for byes. Is it going to be stopped down there? It may well have been brilliantly stopped by the fielder running in from short fine leg. No signal given by the umpire, so we must conclude that it has, and that has gone through for 2 byes.
Yes, yeah, I missed everything. It was sort of
poor Regmi, though, that was a tough over because he beat him all ends up there, but it went through everything. It missed bat, missed pad, missed stumps, and went through the wicketkeeper's hands too.
Well,
as the rain, I must warn the listeners and the people listening to us, watching us on the live stream at the Lord's Facebook page, that it is raining significantly harder now than we've seen for a few hours. And I don't think it could get much harder than this.
No, I think even our Scottish umpire must be having a close look at this, because it's coming down quite hard now.
It is coming down quite hard, but there is quite a significant wind, and hopefully that'll mean it'll blow through. But in a London summer that has been roasting, this is the worst day we've had in 6 weeks at least. The umpires are having a little consultation in the middle of the pitch. They're talking to each other about whether they're going to stay on or stay off. They look like they're about to walk back to their positions there, but may have got harder still. They are walking back, the standing umpires are walking back to behind the wicket and to square leg. And they're calling them in, I think. Yeah, they're taking the stumps off, and that's a real shame, because they've been really bubbling up into a great match. But hopefully we'll be able to get back on. As they leave the field, Ryan Tendersgaard leaves the field, 37 not out of 26 balls. Rippon was not on strike, 11 off 9. It's 112 for 3, the Netherlands, after 12 overs. 8 overs left in this innings. We're hearing, and you can hear too, the hover cover being dragged by the groundsman as quickly as possible over the wickets. And it is possible that this rain will just blow through and we'll be able to get an uninterrupted game.
Well, I mean, that's very optimistic, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I said it is possible. I didn't say it is likely.
it's within the bounds of possibility. But you know what, with these clouds, it's just difficult to tell what's going to happen. The clouds appear to have no bearing on whether it's raining or not. It's been completely changed all day.
4 seasons in a day, London, I suppose.
Indeed. But I don't think Nepal will be too disappointed with this little break.
No.
Because things were starting to get away from them. So the chance to go back in and just have a chat, consolidate, and perhaps come back out with a different plan, because Tendersgaard moved to 37 off 26 balls and was looking extremely ominous. So the hover cover is on, and they're beginning to unfurl it over the square and the test pitch for next week. And the Nepal fans wisely taking cover under the ledge of the grandstand.
And luckily there's just enough of them that they can actually all fit under the ledge, because I want to compliment the Nepal fans. They've been absolutely fabulous today, and they have stuck it out in some pretty miserable conditions while we've sat in our both heated and air-conditioned commentary box enjoying our tea and coffee. They've been out in the stands or out around the pitch, and they've stuck around manfully. Pieter de la Penna, who was our guest at the interval earlier, reckoned there was about 2,000 of them. I'm not sure if there's quite that many, but they certainly have more than made up for not being 2,000 by being 2,000 times louder than most county championship sides. If I just take you through the scorecard, we don't yet have any information as to when there'll be another inspection or how long they'll go out. The rain has actually lessened a little bit, and I think if they'd stayed on for 5 more minutes, they might still be playing. But
well, actually, the ground staff they brought the hover cover out, but they haven't begun to
unfurl
it. So perhaps they're feeling optimistic as well.
Yeah, well, let's hope so, because I think one of the problems cricket has is you have these rain interruptions and interminable delays, and you know, I'm one of the young, and we want it quicker, faster. That's why we want a T10, 100-ball competition. But what we certainly want is, the moment this clears, to get out as soon as possible. But to take you through the scorecard, Tim Vesey was the first man to go. He made 11 before he was bowled by Regmi. Then it was O'Dowd caught Aarif Sheikh, bowled Karan KC for 5. Then Baresi bowled stumps all over the place. Middle stumps rocketed out of the ground for 44. He played brilliantly, actually. There were 6 fours and a 6 in his innings. And then Ryan Tenduskarta is still out there. He came in at number 4 today, 37 off 26 balls. Only 2 boundaries, but the 6 was as elegant a shot as you'll see, just lifting it over the long on boundary. And Rippon's out with him. He's 11 off 9 with 1 boundary. Still yet to really get going, but he hasn't really had the opportunity as to Tenduskarta monopolise the strike. The skies are slightly lessening here. I think the rain may even have stopped. No, it hasn't stopped, but unfortunately, like we were saying earlier with the fielders, the clouds are white, the seats are white, so I've had to look at the black jackets of all the waterproofs of the people sitting under the stand to tell whether it stopped raining, and I don't think it has. I don't think we would have gone off in this weather, but it probably will be difficult to come back on.
Well, it's difficult to tell whether it's raining from the Nepalese fans, because they seem to be pretty hardy people, so
that's absolutely right.
It's not your normal fair weather English fan who runs for cover as soon as it starts raining.
To take you through the bowling card, Sompal Kami, 3 overs, 1 for 29. He took the important and quite spectacular wicket of Baresi, who at the stage who was going at a strike rate of nearly 190. So that was a crucial wicket, we thought. Regmi taking a bit of a pasting in the final over before the interruption, 3 overs, 1 for 30. Karan KC, just the 1 over, 1 for 10. Lamichhane, the young man who's made such a splash for the Delhi Daredevils, not yet today has he made such a splash. 2 overs, no maidens, none for 16. Rajbanshi's probably been the pick of the bowlers. 2 overs, no maidens, none for 11. And Khadka, 1 over, again took a bit of a pasting, none for 15. So it's lightened up, and if it hasn't stopped raining, it's certainly died down a bit.
I think if we keep saying it, then it will happen.
Like like Peter Pan, is that what it is?
I'm going to say it stopped raining.
The MCC flags on top of the mound stand they're not fluttering, they are almost being ripped off the top of the flagpole, and you suspect that means the wind is blowing ferociously. And so the Nepalese flag is also blowing the right way round, which is nice to see. If you didn't hear earlier, we had an unfortunate mishap where we put the Nepalese flag up by accident on the wrong way round, the top of the Lord's Pavilion, but it was a mistake that was corrected with such lightning fast alacrity that I'm not sure the social media had even had time to get totally outraged of it.
Unfortunately, we have to report there is more kit coming onto the field.
Oh, is there? We're seeing the things that hold down the wider covers, aren't we? They're sort of...
Well, they need to be sent back because there is no rain.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what they're doing.
It's very interesting. We're seeing a man in a green little tractor trundle. I think that's the right word. He's trundling onto the field with these sort of sweet shaped and coloured red and yellow stripe, like you might get in a box of Bassett's all sorts. Little sandbags which you use to put down the wider covers. One of the ground staff is still sheltering under an umbrella in the middle of the field by the test pitch, but the other one is looking very hardy. He hasn't even got a hat. So maybe there is some prospect that the rain might abate soon, but it is still coming down here, and as it still comes down, we should probably make a little exit, because we could be on here for some time. Unfortunately, as we look around the skies of London from the media centre here at Lord's, it is grey, 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 and some slightly lighter grey.
Do you want something to brighten up your day?
Well, I do, yes.
Do you want a statistic to brighten up your day?
Of course, yeah.
Jayawardene playing today. Court Jayawardene, a bowled Milaretharan, is the most common bowler-fielder combination in the history of Test cricket statistics.
Oh my goodness!
Don't you feel better now?
Yeah, I feel much better now. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't gotten any better, so it's more of a metaphorical than literal brightening of my day. But what we'll do, listeners, is we'll make a swift exit, and we will be back if there's any information about when we might have an inspection or restart. We need to go downstairs and check all of that. Certainly, the rain's still coming down, and it looks like the wider covers might be coming on too. And so, remember, you can take if you'd like to watch the match when it restarts, or indeed if you just like staring at hover covers while rain comes down, we're live streaming this match on the Lord's Facebook page and on the Twitter feed at Home of Cricket. So please join us there when we restart. But until then, we'll be back when there's any news. Welcome back to Lords for this international T20 match between the Netherlands and Nepal, and we have good news to report, which is that the rain has stopped. The umpires did really well. They came out immediately as soon as it stopped, and they have taken the covers off, put the stumps in, and the Nepalese team are walking onto the pitch, and the batsmen from the Netherlands are too. 112 for 3 was where we left it. 8 overs left. Ryan ten Doeschate will be on strike. He's got 37. Rippen is on 11. Ben Timpson's with me. Great to see them getting back on and off so quickly. If we don't eat into the half an hour give time that we have, we don't lose any overs, and I don't believe we have.
I think it's showing some really good intent from the umpires, because it's pretty gloomy out there and it would have been very easy to sort of hold off, so it's a really good effort, I think, to get out on the pitch. We're going to see Lamichhane back into the attack again.
Yes.
He took a bit of tap in his first 2 overs, didn't he?
Yeah, 16 off his first 2 overs. He bowls, he's a leg spinner, and that turns into ten Doeschate, who flicks it, the right-hander, into the leg side and takes a single. So, 113 for 3, 8 overs left. Ryan ten Doeschate, who looked in superb form before we walked off due to the rain break, has to start again, and that can have its own difficulties. But Lamichhane, the young Nepalese 17-year-old leg spinner, is coming into him over the wicket. He bowls, and this time it's Rippen who is... Oh, they've run just ten Doeschate out. Oh my goodness, they went for a quick single out to backward point, and a brilliant direct hit has run Ryan ten Doeschate out. And my God, that rain break has worked for Nepal. It's 113 for 4 now, and the key man, Ryan ten Doeschate, is gone.
Ten Doeschate is dragging his bat on the way back to the dugout there. I have to say, he looked a bit sleepy when he was hitting off that run.
Yep.
He didn't look like he was on his toes, and a really, really sharp throw from the Nepalese.
Yes, well, will they rue that, the Netherlands? It was ten Doeschate's call, and he has actually been a bit sleepy on a couple of occasions. One run they did in particular, Rippen was actually 3/4 of the way down the pitch before ten Doeschate even turned. But he got home that time, but unfortunately for Ryan ten Doeschate, he didn't get home there. A brilliant bit of fielding. And
it's certainly woken the Nepal team up and the Nepal crowd to on their feet for that run out. They were absolutely cheering.
We're yet to see the fielder. The fielder hasn't been named for that run out, unfortunately. But whoever it was did a superb job. It must be said he had 3 stumps to aim at, but he absolutely splattered the lot of them. And that is a crucial blow. The 2 set batsmen were Aaree, who fell 2 overs before the rain interruption, 44 of 24, and now Ryan ten Doeschate, who really had looked absolutely superb. But they need to rebuild again, the Netherlands now, on 113 for 3, or 100 for 2, they were at one point, from 113 for 4. And Lamichhane hasn't got the wicket himself, but he has induced it with a bit of nervy running. Perhaps people wanting to get back on strike, because that's flicked by the new man. Edwards has replaced ten Doeschate, and this time they do get through for a quick and well-run second that I would suggest ten Doeschate might not have been thinking of had he been out there. But Lamichhane didn't get the wicket, but he did induce the wicket, if that's to be said. And I wonder if waiting in the dressing room, waiting for the rain to stop, means you're a bit nervous when you come out. You just want to, get that quick single, because the call was made straight away. ten Doeschate was on his heels, as that's flicked by Edwards into the leg side, and they're going to look for another 2 here. Oh, this is a little bit tighter, but he saw the fielder napping a little bit out there at deep mid-wicket, and they got through for 2.
Lamichhane is not really turning the ball much, but he's bowling really, really straight.
Yep.
So playing square of the wicket, it's making it really difficult for the batsman, particularly with that short offside boundary. So he's really effectively taking that option away from the batsman.
And we must compliment all the bowlers, actually. They've managed to defend that short boundary really well. We haven't seen very many hits in that region, and they've done it by bowling to, good plans, consistent lines.
Long off and long on the back. So he's taken that option away from them and saying, try and hit me square of the wicket. And he's making it very, very difficult.
Yes. As Lamichhane bowls, and that's flicked brilliantly by Edwards. A little lap paddle, it's going down to fine leg, and it has hit the boundary. There was a big vacant space out there, but you have to be a good player to target it, and Basant was running in from third man, and I'm afraid he's carrying a little bit of timber, and wasn't able to pick it up. So good batting there from Edwards. He's looked very in control from ball 1. He's got 8 off 3 balls. And Lamichhane's figures so far, 2.5 overs, none for 25. So hasn't had the success that he's had with the Delhi Daredevils.
But he's bowled better than this figure suggests.
He has, and he gets, I think, an assist for the run out. I think that would be a
definitely.
fair thing to say. The last ball of Lamichhane's 3rd over, he's bowling over the wicket to Edwards, and Edwards this time is doing a reverse sweep, but that goes straight to the fielder at backward point. There's a misfield by the wicketkeeper, and they'll get through for a single. He'll be disappointed with that, Lamichhane, and the wicketkeeper will be disappointed too. But that concludes the over, 122 for 4. Edwards on 9, Rippon on 11, and the key moment, Ryan Tendulkar to run out without facing a ball after the interval for 38 by a great bit of fielding and a sloppy bit of running. And it just proves to you, they always say you add 2 wickets or 20 runs to the score, and what does it look like? Very strong platform for the Netherlands about an hour ago, less so now, but still a good even match so far, Ben.
I still say the Netherlands have slightly got their noses in front, I would say, with runs on the board, particularly given Nepal's batting lineup.
Rajbanshi's into the attack. We've got a short third man, a backward point, a deep cover sweeper, a deep extra cover sweeper, cover, long off, long on, deep in wicket, deep square leg, and a short third man. So the tactic continues of having nobody on the boundary behind square on either the off or the leg side. So the sweep is an option for the spin of Rajbanshi, who will be bowling over the wicket to the right-handed Edwards, who has 9 off 4 balls. Rajbanshi just turns the ball around in his hands, rubs his trousers, rubs the ground, and he's ready to bowl now. He's up to the wicket, and Edwards sweeps, and that's swept straight to the man at deep mid-wicket, and they get a single. Apologies, he's a left-arm bowler, so it is, in fact, he's going round the wicket to Edwards. But yeah, we saw there the sweep, and was played by Edwards, but Rajbanshi dealt with it well, pushing it outside the off-stump. Hard to conventionally sweep something behind square if it's outside the off-stump. Well, I mean, I found it hard to sweep anything, but even for international players, that was a good bit of bowling by Rajbanshi. He's going to continue this around the wicket line of attack. He's up to the wicket now, and he bowls to Rippon, and Rippon hits a full toss down the ground. Now is long on being in business. No, he isn't. The ball was dispatched by Rippon. It was a half tracker, a filthy full toss, and sent over the long on boundary for 6 runs.
I sense there Rippon was looking to open up that vacant point boundary, but he backed away to leg, but then it was such a rank full toss that he decided it would just get the treatment down the ground.
Yes.
But he's looking to target that offside boundary area, so it's a bit of a cat and mouse game here between Rajbanshi and him.
Yes.
Rajbanshi was looking to bowl straight at the leg stump and tuck him up, and Rippon's looking to make room. But
perhaps we just saw the ball slip out of the hand a bit. It is wet, it is damp, and it is difficult to grip the ball as Rajbanshi bowls again, and this time it is short outside the off stump, and that is clubbed by Rippon out to the cover sweeper, and they take a single. Yes, he's in a difficult position, Rajbanshi, because obviously he doesn't want to bowl a full toss, but he has to bowl full and straight with his field, because as you say, there's nobody backward of point on the offside, and so that's an easy target. And you were right in the sense that Rippon was definitely not looking to hit that down the ground, was almost a bit surprised by it, and he did very well to muscle it over long on. As Rajbanshi comes up to the wicket to Edwards, and Edwards sweeps, and this time he sweeps extremely well. He swept it past the man fielding at short fine leg, and that'll clatter into the boundary down there for 4 runs.
you have to be really precise with that sweep shot. Straight between the 2 men just behind square. It's a really accurate piece of batting. Almost premeditated as well, the way he went down on one knee.
And that was a little bit straighter for Rajbanshi, so he was able to flick it a little bit finer rather than the last one that he walloped to the man fielding at deep square leg.
Well, it'll be cast right to the Nepalese fans. They've just gone slightly quieter again.
Yep, and the rain has started to come down too. But good on the umpires, they're trying to keep them out there. They only took them off when it really was pretty much unplayable. And they are going to try and keep them out there come what may, so that we don't lose any overs. Rajbanshi then around the wicket, and that's swept again by Edwards, and that's swept to the man at deep square leg, who only had to move a few yards to his left. They think about a second, but they're going to settle for a single.
Fantastic throw as well.
Yeah, it was a very good throw. We've seen some quite impressive ground fielding, I think, by both sides today, and that's something associate nations often pride themselves on, I suppose, because it's one of the easier skills to practice and train for.
But it's almost a gamble, this ground fielding, because it's so wet out there that the batsmen are always looking to run the second for the misfield.
Yes.
But it's almost working in the fielding side favour, because had a couple of run-outs based on that confusion.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a batsman slip yet, but you could see it. I mean, it is pretty dark. It's pretty dark up here. So Rajbanshi bowls, and Rippon's trying to punch that past backward point, but he has to hit it a little bit straighter, and it goes to the fielder there at cover, and that's the end of the over. A single taken off that last ball. Edwards has 15. Rippon's on strike. He's got 19. He'll be on strike for the next over. 136 for 4. 6 overs to go. Target here about 180.
You'd say so.
Really is. I have to say it really it's really English seaside weather out there. It's dark. It's gloomy. The wind is blowing quite ferociously. There's mist and drizzle. We're in a sea of beige.
Yes, the lights on the cranes in the distance are getting brighter and brighter.
Yep, they are, and some of the skyscrapers even over the distance as we look over the pavilion are slightly obscured.
It's got sort of those slightly apocalyptic look.
Yeah, it's like
the skyscrapers in the distance.
Yes, well,
with this gloom.
Cammy is coming back into the attack. 1 for 29 off his 3 overs so far. The umpires are looking around. You can see that they are thinking, oh God, are we going to have to take them off? And I know that people are encouraged now to stay on the field, which is obviously the correct decision, but it's difficult as a Sompal Cammy comes in. Right arm, medium, he bowls over the wicket, and that's edged and flashed down to the fielder at third man, who slides like a man going down a water slide to grab that, and they'll get through for 2. He really went all fours there. He dived for it and he couldn't stop.
I know, it looked like me hit by a sniper. Suddenly went down out of nowhere.
Something you've seen in your naval experience. 21 for Rippon. Again, like you said, Ben, they're taking on the second at every opportunity because it's very difficult to field out there at the moment. Same conditions that we've had for the past couple of hours or so. Dark, wind coming up, rain coming in and out.
Well, Cammy's got over 10 and over so far.
Yep.
What can he do?
Yeah, he's going to be bowling over the wicket to Rippon, who's on 21 or 14 balls, and he bowls, and that is heaved into the leg side on the bounce to the man fielding at deep square leg. A genuine old-fashioned slog there from Rippon, but it was fielded well on the bounce, and you could see the Nepalese fielder actually, he stayed back because he was worried it might skid on off the grass, it's so wet, and he did really well, and good return throw too to keep it down to 1. The men out in the deep are at deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, long on cover point, I suppose, or deep cover, a wide deep cover, and a deep third man. So the gaps are mid-off and extra cover and at fine leg, and Edwards comes down the wicket to Cammy, who bowls a bouncer, and that's flown through, and Edwards looks at the umpire as if to say, was that a wide? But actually I think he charged it, so it probably came at him a bit quicker than he expected, and a good change up from Cammy.
It's a good bouncer. He's not a tall man, but he got excellent carry off the pitch there.
Yeah.
The keeper took it above his head. Admittedly, the keeper's not a tall man either. But,
and I suppose with the rain, some of them might stick, some of them might skid on a little bit. We have seen a little bit of uneven bounce for the seamers, but in general it's been a very good Lord's wicket. As Cammy bowls and Edwards tries to lap that over the keeper's head. He hasn't got all of it, he's got a bit of a top edge, but it's still going to fly down to fine leg for 4 runs. A good bit of improvisation, targeting one of the 2 vacant gaps there are at deep mid-off and fine leg, and that was a good bit of cricket from Edwards.
Very nice. Well, he's bowled fairly short this over, I think, trying to just push the batsman to the back foot to stop that full-blooded drive over the extra cover area, but Edwards equal to it and just use that bounce to elevate it over the keeper's head. I thought for a moment there it was going to be caught, but it just kept on coming, didn't it?
So Cammy's getting a little bit of talking to by his captain. It hasn't been the most successful spell for him. He's going to finish with figures of almost 10 and over. 36 runs off his 3.4 overs so far, 1 wicket. Spectacular wicket of Brazy as that's flicked by Edwards off his pads down to long on, and they're thinking of a second, but they won't take on the arm this time. It's well fielded down there, so they take a single. brings Ripon back on strike. He's on 22. Edwards has moved to 20 off 10 balls and has looked very composed since he's come to the wicket after the fall of Ryan Tenduscati to a good run out and a bad bit of nervous running from Tenduscati. We were wondering if that would slow the Netherlands' advance, but Edwards has continued a strike rate of 200 as we wait the last ball of the 15th over. Cammy's going to bowl his final ball over the wicket, as he has done with all of his deliveries. He charges in now to Ripon, who carves that over square cover for 6. What a shot! Fabulous shot, bouncing off the advertising hoardings just before the Nepalese fans, and a wonderful way to end the 15th over. A 6 from Edwards, a magnificent shot, and it brings up the Netherlands 150 for 4. 5 overs left, 150 for 4. Perhaps James's prediction of 200 looking on. I think it's time for a change. Before I do that, let's remind you that if you want to watch a live stream of this really competitive game, you can go onto the Lord's Facebook page. It's being live streamed on there. There are in-play clips with our commentary overlaid on it on the Lord's Twitter account at Home of Cricket. But Ben, you're going to take up commentary, and then I think Jamie Wright's coming in.
Thank you very much, Ed Benson. So as Jamie Wright makes himself comfortable in the commentator's chair, we'll just look at the scoreboard. It's 150 for 4. Most of the damage done by Ryan Tenduscati, who was run out for 38. Currently Ripon is 28 off 16 balls, and Edwards taken 20 off 10 balls. The run rate 10 and over, and we are into the last 5 overs of this innings. Jamie Wright.
Wow, it's a grey, grisly afternoon.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say that mizzle is starting to come down a little bit faster again. And we're going to see the final over from Lamichhane, the leg spinner. So far he's bowled 3 overs, no maidens, 26 for, no wickets.
I think 200's doable.
It's very doable from this point, because they've played control cricket so far. As Lamichhane is up to the wicket, bowls, and that's wide outside the off stump. It's been swept hard right over mid-wicket. Is that 6?
I think that was 6.
Waiting for the umpire's signal, he looks tentative. And the umpire signalled it's 6, where he got down on one knee and absolutely heaved that over mid-wicket. It wasn't a bad ball from Lamichhane, maybe slightly full, but Edwards played it brilliantly.
We've seen a few flat 6s over into that grandstand today.
Well, it is the short boundary, and he's made good use of it there. Lamichhane then, he's got a wet ball, difficult conditions. So he's up to the wicket now, bowls, and it's another full delivery, there's another sweep, it's going to be 6. It is 6 into the grandstand, and it's got exactly the same treatment as the last ball. He moved his way over to the offside, got down on one knee, and really scooped that up and over the boundary. So Lamichhane's got a problem on his hands here. 2 6s off the first 2 balls of his over, and his figures are now 3 overs, 3.2 overs for 38. And he's now having a bit of a conference with his captain. What will his captain been saying to him?
Don't bowl any more balls that go for 6.
Well, he's had his chat and he's moving back to his mark now. We've got 2 men on that short leg side boundary at square leg and mid-wicket. He's bowled, and it's another full delivery, and he's tried exactly the same shot again, but it's just gone along the ground to deep mid-wicket.
Scott Edwards is actually Australian by birth. Made his first-class debut for the Dutch against Namibia in the ICC Intercontinental Cup 3 years ago. Or last year even. He's only 21.
And that's the 50 partnership between Ripon and Edwards. Lamichhane up to the wicket, bowls. It's a short delivery outside the off stump, and it's been all the fielders in the offside. It's gone past cover, it's gone past deep extra cover to that boundary, all along the floor. An excellent pitch. He just rocked back onto the back foot and played the ball right at the top of its bounce. So Ripon is now 32 off 17 balls, and he's really beginning to look fluent in the last 5 overs of this innings.
Yeah, both batsmen are. It's all gone a bit wrong for Lamichhane in his last over here, looking pretty expensive, and the Dutch, I don't know about eyeing up 200, they're eyeing up 250 at the moment.
Again, Lamichhane's not really bowled badly up to this point, but when you've got 2 batsmen who are set against a relatively inexperienced leg spinner, it's a really, really tough proposition. Captain furiously drying the ball.
Wet ball as well. It's not favourable conditions.
Well, wrist spin's almost impossible to bowl at the best of times, let alone in wet conditions against a confident batsman. Lamichhane up to the wicket. He bowls. Oh, and he's beaten him. That was outside the off stump, a little bit of turn, and Ripon went down on one knee again to try and heave it into the grandstand, but connected with nothing but fresh air. So a bit of a victory there from Lamichhane. It's a good reply from the previous two deliveries.
You want to make sure you're definitely watching the game if you sat in the grandstand at the moment.
Yes. Those umbrellas could have personal safety. Lamichhane, final ball of his spell, up to the wicket. He bowls, and again he's beaten the batsman there. He appeals for LBW, but I think it was going over the top of the stumps, and the umpire not interested. So, from a fairly bruising spell, the last two deliveries were a good conclusion for Lamichhane, who leaves the attack with figures of 4 overs, no maidens, 43 for no wicket.
Yeah, looked a bit high, that last one, but he ended with a couple of dots, so salvaged something back from an otherwise expensive over. Hopefully the light isn't going to be a problem.
Well, I did wonder,
because so you can tell by the reflection of the lights in the box here that reflect on the window how dark it is outside, how visible they are.
Well, we haven't seen Singh for a little while, so perhaps Karan, who's returning for his second over, or a bit of medium pace, will tell us how well the batsmen are seeing it. We're into the 17th over now, 167 for the Netherlands.
Not so much of a problem with a white ball. With a red ball, I think that would prove quite difficult out there at the moment against pace bowling.
So it's Karan to bowl to Edwards, who's on 33, up to the wicket. He bowls and he tries a very ambitious reverse sweep. He's almost looked like he got down on both knees there to play that reverse sweep, and got in a dreadful mess and could only bunt it into the offside, but they scrambled through for his signal, bringing Ripon onto strike, who's 32 off 19 balls, and the score's 168 for 4.
These two have put on 55 now. It doesn't seem that long ago since Tennisgati was out, so it's moved on pretty rapidly.
Proved to be a little bit of a full storm for the Nepalese, as Karan's up to the wicket. He bowls, and that's it's a full delivery on leg stump, and I think that's going to be 4 byes. No, it came off the bat. Well, he'll call that a delicate leg glance.
Just a little tickle on it, yeah.
And that's that beat the fielder and raced away. So unable to stop the bleeding, the Nepalese.
Yeah, obviously fine leg up inside the circle. They've got the 5 men out on the boundary, so a little bit hamstrung by that. So you're relying on the bowler to get the line right.
But yet another conference between the captain and the bowler. Bit of advice, bit of ball drying, and it's Karan in again, up to the wicket. He bowls, and that's full outside the off stump, and it's beaten the batsman there. He got down very low on one knee to try and carve that through point, but just couldn't get anything on it. It was a good Yorker.
Well pitched up, and came back a little bit, came back down the slope a little bit, I think.
He's not quick, Karan, but he's got a compact action. He's a skiddy bowler, so trying to get that sort of elevation over point's really difficult of him, isn't it?
The rain's coming down with a little bit more excitement all of a sudden.
Karan brings third man up into the circle, and that rain's really coming down hard now, I'm afraid to say. Umbrellas going up in the stands. As Karan continues on, and he's pulled out of his run up.
Yeah, the once visible crane with the light on in the distance has now disappeared completely.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
Light and crane together.
Karan up to the wicket now. He bowls, and that's a full delivery which has been hoiked out to cow corner. It won't be caught, but it will just be cut off by Long On, who comes in with the throw. I can feel the hover cover starting up below us, unfortunately. the umpires haven't come together to discuss it yet. They are. They've taken the bails off. Well, that's really, really unfortunate.
It's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I mean, I suspect it will blow through again.
But it's very, very frustrating for both teams.
So I'm not sure how many minutes we lost during the first stoppage. Felt like about 15 or there or thereabouts. So we know that we can add half an hour to the prescribed end of play. So if they are off for more than 15 minutes this time around, then we will start to lose overs out of the game.
Well, as the hover cover rumbles on, we'll just go through the card. The Netherlands currently 174 for 4. Visa was bowled by Regmi for 11. O'Dowd called Sheikh, bowled Karan for 5. Baresi played brilliantly, really fluently for 44 before he was bowled by Kami. And then Tenduscar, the last man out, he was run out for 38. Since then, Rippon and Edwards have put on a partnership of over 50 in short order. We're playing some pretty clever cricket shots.
Yeah, they were. It's been nice to see. Obviously, you've got the short boundary on that side. They've exploited that really, really well, but they've really accelerated and sort of gone through the gears. It's not going to help them going off. You like to get a bit of a flow up as a batsman. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when they come back out. I'm saying when because they will. This will blow through. Stay with us.
Well, as the weather's come in, and we'll have to wait for updates. We're going to take a break here. So from Jamie Wright and myself, Ben Timpson, thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back on air once we've got some more updates.